We must make sure everything fits. You'll do wonderfully on this trip.
I know, thanks to you.
When she packed her suitcase, I didn't doubt her. That's the part that hurts the most when I look back. My wife, Natalie, said she had a 3-day conference in another city. I helped her zip the bag shut, reminded her to pack her charger. She smiled, kissed me, and promised she'd call every night. The first 2 days felt normal. We exchanged texts about her long meetings and the bad hotel coffee, but on the third night, something changed. Her messages became short, distracted. When she finally called, her voice was light, almost carefree, like she'd stepped into a different life for a moment. She got back home after midnight. I was waiting in the living room when I heard her key in the door. She walked in glowing, not tired at all. Her eyes were bright, and she moved with this relaxed energy, like someone returning from a vacation, not a work trip. She talked a mile a minute, laughing about presentations and dinners with clients. I just nodded, trying to ignore the tight feeling in my chest. Then she went to take a shower. That's when I noticed it. Her carry-on bag was still sitting by the door, untouched. And from inside I heard a soft buzz, her tablet. Natalie never ever traveled with her tablet. I stood there, arguing with myself. Trust was the foundation of our marriage, but my gut was screaming at me. I opened the bag. What I found wasn't dramatic. It was methodical. A hotel keycard, but with a man's name, not hers. A receipt from a fancy restaurant dated 2 nights ago. And a small folded note tucked into a side pocket. 4 words in her handwriting. Next time, Miami. I didn't confront her. I didn't feel angry, not yet. I just felt alert. Over the next week, I started watching her in a way I never had before. She'd fill the silence with chatter about unimportant things, but would avoid any real conversation. Her phone was glued to her hand. When I casually asked for more details about the conference, her answers were vague and inconsistent. So I started with something simple. I checked the conference website. Her name wasn't on the speaker or attendee list. That was all I needed. I quietly hired a private investigator. I wasn't looking for revenge. I was looking for certainty. Accusations without proof are just noise, and Natalie was an expert at creating noise. The report arrived 10 days later. It was cold, factual. Surveillance photos? Hotel footage. Records of meetings that had nothing to do with business. The man she was seeing wasn't a coworker. He was a real estate developer named Ryan Cole, married, careless. The so-called business trips were just a well-rehearsed lie. Different cities, same pattern, but the real shock wasn't the affair. It was the planning. Natalie had been slowly moving money into a separate account. She wasn't just cheating, she was preparing her exit. So I made my move first. I didn't change my behavior at all. I stayed kind, present, predictable. I let her think she was one step ahead. While she was planning weekend getaways, I was meeting with a lawyer. While she was texting excuses, I was securing our finances. Everything was clean, legal, and silent. The perfect opportunity finally came. Natalie announced another trip, this time to Miami. I just smiled and told her to have a safe flight. That day, instead of going to work, I went to her office. She hadn't taken any time off. There was no travel request on file. When she returned 2 days later, I was waiting. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't call her names. I simply laid everything out on our dining table, the photos, the bank statements, the hotel records, the text messages, all printed in black and white. She tried to deny it at first. Then came the anger, then the tears, but none of it mattered anymore. I gave her a choice. She could leave quietly, sign the divorce agreement my lawyer had prepared, and keep what she'd earned herself. Or we could let all this evidence speak for itself in court, along with records of her financial manipulation. She signed. Ryan disappeared from her life soon after. Apparently his wife found out too. It's funny how fast secrets collapse once a little light gets in. Natalie moved out that night. The house felt strange at first, too quiet, too honest. But slowly that quiet turned into peace. I started sleeping better. My thoughts were clearer. For the first time in months, I didn't feel like I was competing with a ghost. People asked me how I stayed so calm through it all. The truth is, betrayal doesn't always deserve anger. Sometimes it just deserves clarity. Natalie thought she was planning her escape from me. What she actually did was free me from a life built on lies. And that was the one ending she never saw coming. Thanks for listening. If this story resonated with you, consider subscribing for more.